Some days, you just want to wear your favourite vest. Well, you might. But you also might want to wear your favourite shirt. But what do you do if you can't decide which to wear? You could wear them both together. If layered incorrectly, the results might not be quite what you wanted. But if layered in just the right way, well, now that's when the magic happens. Oh, cracking intro. Layering fragrances can be a difficult concept to wrap your brain around, so I hoped my intro there just helped simplify things a little bit for you. Picture this. You're in the mood for wearing a tobacco scent. In front of you, you have two of your favourites. Herod from Parfums Vintage, Back to Black by Kilian. Two of my favourite tobacco scents. You want to wear them both, but which one do you choose? If you can't choose, dilemma. Again, picture this. Two of your favourite scents, Creed's Aventus, Tom Ford's Tuscan Leather. Do you go for the pineapple and the birch, or do you go for the raspberry and the leather? Dilemma. Well, all your prayers have been answered, because at the moment there seems to be a bit of a trend for companies releasing fragrances that are ready mixed. Of course, if you own both of these bottles, you could layer them yourself, but maybe you're unsure of which order to layer them in, which goes first, which goes on after, how many sprays of each, is it equal, or is it a percentage of one and a different percentage of another? Some of you out there may not own both bottles, because a lot of the times these fragrances are very expensive. So now that companies like Dua and Alexandria Fragrances are releasing these ready mixed layering combos, it's quite interesting, I've got to say. This video is about Alexandria Fragrances. So they sent me some bottles a while back now, and also included in the package they sent me two travel sprayers of layered scents, ready mixed layered scents. I don't think the intention was for me to make a video on them, but I tried them and I was pretty wowed by them, so I just wanted to share my thoughts with you and pass these on as a recommendation. So let's get talking about them. So the first one I'm going to talk about is called Hafez Gold. Now, Alexandria are releasing this as an original creation. On the US website, it just has the notes listed and that it is an original creation. On the UK website, there's a little note at the end of the description that says, dries down like a mix between Herod and Back to Black. So I don't know whether the intention when blending this fragrance was to combine those two, and if the intention of this was to be a hybrid fragrance or not. But it kind of comes off a little bit like that. I think maybe that's something that they discovered after it. So it's not technically being marketed as a blended fragrance, but I'm just going to talk to you about it anyway because I'm really enjoying it. So Herod and Back to Black, love them. So Herod is tobacco and vanilla and incense, and Back to Black from by Kilian is honey and this lovely dry tobacco. I would probably say I enjoyed both those scents equally. If someone asked me to choose which one, I think I'd really struggle because I love both houses, I love both scents, okay? So Hafez Gold is part of the line of Hafez fragrances that are named after the owner of the company, Hani Hafez. So we had Hafez 1984 and Hafez 1984 Intense. So with 1984, you get this lovely kind of dry Cavendish tobacco. There's some patchouli, vanilla, and there's a little boozy note. There's some rum in there. So this boozy note for me makes it quite a lively, quite a playful tobacco fragrance. Amazing scent. If you've not tried Hafez 1984, I would highly recommend it. I've done a video on that, so check out my thoughts on that one if you like. Hafez 1984 Intense is along the same lines, similar DNA, but just has some darker notes. It's got some oud, it's got some coffee in there. Again, lovely scent, a little bit more brooding and darker than the original 1984, which is the one I prefer. So how does Hafez Gold fit into this lineup of Hafez named scents? So this one opens with this gorgeous, gorgeous dry tobacco note. I have got it sprayed on here, but just so I can experience the opening as I'm talking to you on camera, I'm going to spray it again. It is such a beautiful tobacco note. It's got some sweetness. It just hits the spot. It's beautiful. And then as it starts to dry down, the honey, which I think probably the honey from the Back to Black blend, is there, so you get this lovely kind of sweet honeyed tobacco. And as it dries down further, it becomes a little darker and a little bit more intense, but in a different way to 1984 intense. And as it dries down, I get this almost burnt caramelized sugar type of accord. Almost like when you open a bag of brown sugar and you smell the brown sugar, you sniff the bag and you get that kind of lovely caramelized brown sugar accord. So you have that mixed with that gorgeous dry tobacco. So the scent itself is absolutely beautiful. I don't know if there's some incense in here, which is what is mixed with Herod. I don't particularly pick up on any incense. I think it's the Alexandria's US site mentions something about incense, but it's not really, I wouldn't say the incense is there as prominently as it is in Herod. So you get this lovely kind of slightly caramelized brown sugar mixed with the tobacco. So if you're a fan of tobacco scents and you like the other Hafez scents, then I'm pretty sure that you're going to really enjoy Hafez Gold. The next one is a blend of Creed's Aventus and Tom Ford's Tuscan Leather. Two of my favourite fragrances, absolutely love them both. Now I don't think Alexandria could have got away with calling this one Tuscan Aventus, so they've called it Tuscan King. And Tuscan King, for me, is a straight down the middle, perfect 50-50 combo, hybrid, whatever you want to call it, of Aventus and Tuscan Leather. You get the pineapple and the birch, you get the leather and the raspberry from Tuscan Leather, and it just blends together perfectly. It all just mixes in. It's not like 1 minute you're getting a whiff and you're thinking, oh, it's Aventus, and then 5 minutes later you get a whiff and you're thinking, oh, I'm getting Tuscan Leather. You're getting this perfect harmony of both compositions in one. And I would describe this scent as having this neon glow, if you like. It just kind of buzzes off the skin and remains that way. It just performs really well, and it's an absolute pleasure to wear. I mean, if you want to get an idea of how this smells, if you own samples or if you own bottles of both those scents, then try them both. I couldn't advise you how many sprays of each, whether it would be 50-50. That's what's good about these blends, these hybrids, is that, you know, they've done some testing and they've probably tried a few formulations to arrive at one which is the best combination, which is the best blend of both of these. And it's just Aventus and Tuscan Leather combined. And if you can imagine what both of those would smell like together, this is what you're going to get. Interestingly, I took these away with me, and my wife came into the kitchen after she'd had a shower, and she was smelling amazing. I was like, damn girl, what are you wearing? And she said, oh, I don't know, it was just one of the black bottles that you brought with you, and it was this one. So she was wearing, to me, what are two of the most masculine fragrances. I know Tuscan Leather is marketed as unisex, but I find that they're both pretty masculine fragrances, and she was rocking it. She was wearing them really well, and it's amazing that I couldn't quite detect what she was wearing off her skin. It was almost different off her than it was when I'd been wearing it myself, but it worked. You know, it was really, it was a really kind of attractive scent, I've got to say. It was really working off her. So if you're a female tuning in to my channel and you're wondering about this scent, then certainly, as far as I'm concerned, it definitely works. So I would say that this one is 100% unisex fragrance. Performance is great. I get what you would expect from, you know, a good batch of Aventus and Tuscan leather. Both perform really well for me, and this one does. So I'm getting, you know, a good 8-9 hours of this. The projection is one of the best things, because 2 to 3 hours of projection, if you get it on clothes, then it's pretty much going to be projecting for the whole time you're wearing this. I always do tend to spray it on clothes as well, so I can often, you know, get good projection. This is just going to give you those lovely Aventus Tuscan leather whiffs throughout the whole time that you're wearing this fragrance. I would say it projects more than Hafez Gold. That is probably about maybe half a meter in terms of the radius of projection, so it is a little more intimate. So it's maybe more of a scent. Hafez Gold maybe more of a scent to wear perhaps as an evening scent, formal occasion scent, date night scent, and probably more kind of in the cooler months, maybe more autumn and winter. This has the versatility of Aventus, and the versatility of Aventus just pulls Tuscan leather with it, because that would normally be more of a heavier autumn winter scent, but I think this one is brighter than just Tuscan leather on its own. So I think it has that versatility to wear this any time of year, any occasion. So whenever you wear this scent, it is going to smell amazing, or I think it does anyway. So I would probably say I like them both equally, because tobacco is a note that I adore, and I love Aventus and Tuscan leather, so this one is working really well for me. So if you think that you like the sound and you wanted to try these hybrid fragrances, and you know, maybe if Alexandria are still selling these in the travel sprays, good way to try them out. But I think it's a good way to combine two fragrances that you love, just ready mixed, no messing about. I think a lot of people out there perhaps don't own the fragrances as well, so I think that's another good reason for these hybrid fragrances to exist. I'm looking forward to seeing what else can be layered. I think this trend will continue, and people will just keep combining different scents, and some of them just really work well together. Not all, but some fragrances do just work really well. Another popular scent that gets layered a lot is Baccarat Rouge 540, and I just think with that scent, I love it on its own, but in the composition I almost feel that there's room for other notes, for other molecules to join it. I think it's just a perfect layering fragrance. So I think you can layer quite a lot of things with Baccarat Rouge. I think there's definite scope to do that. I know that there are already some ready mixed layering combos with Baccarat Rouge 540. So yeah, do look into it, and I'd be really interested to hear, firstly, if anyone's tried these two that I'm talking about, Tuscan King and Hafez Gold. I'd love to hear your thoughts on those, and let me know what other good layering combos you've discovered, and which other ready mixed layering blends you've bought from any of these companies that are offering them. Obviously Parfums Vintage is another one that is starting to combine two really well loved fragrances, and you know, I think it's really working. I think it's quite exciting to see what's gonna come out onto the market next. So let me know which ones you've tried. I would love to hear from you. I hope you found this video useful. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, keep tuning into FM and keep smelling good. Oh, and never wear your vest over your shirt. It's not a good look.